We introduced you to the concept of house sitting a few weeks ago, and a lot of people said they were interested in hearing about our personal experiences. Now, there's a lot of positives around house sitting, but today we are going to highlight some of those downsides that you may not have considered.
And you know, a lot of these didn't cross our mind before we started house sitting a couple of years ago. So if you're really thinking about it, you need to watch this video. Incidentally, today we're coming from another leafy part of the UK. This is an RSPB place, which is a Royal Society for the Protection of Birds. And there's birds flying around everywhere. I'm not really a bird person. What have you seen?
I saw a heron, and I've seen a little robin and a blue tit.
There you go. If I can get any of that on camera, you know, we'll drop that in to make it look a bit arty.
Some viewers got in touch with questions and experiences of their own, and we will share and respond to those later in the video.
And you know, one of those actually occurred to us on a recent sit and has actually changed totally how we approach house sitting. And before we get into some of the issues, we just want to say at the outset, house sitting is pretty cool. And what I like about it is it's all based upon trust. Homeowners are trusting you with their house and with their pets. And you, as a house sitter, need to demonstrate that you're trustworthy in response to that.
Yeah, that's right. Put yourself in the headspace of a homeowner stroke pet owner, and you will soon realise that they're going all out to trust you.
Yeah, they're giving you their most financially expensive asset and their most loved animal thrust into your hands. It's pretty incredible, really, isn't it, when you think about it?
It is.
And if that trust is shaky in any way ahead of a sit, I can pretty much guarantee the sit isn't going to go well. And actually, we're going to share a little bit later on a situation that occurred to us that if we didn't have really good trust with the homeowner, things could have got a bit shaky on day one.
At day one. So to the issues, and the first issue is more of a psychological one, and the best way I can probably describe it is a balance of power. In one of our sits, it felt more like we were being employed by the homeowner rather than it being a balanced relationship.
I remember when this happened, I was becoming quickly disheartened with the whole house sitting concept. We're going to explain at the end why we do the house sitting, but one of the things is we're not doing it for the money or to get free accommodation. So to be put in a position where it feels like they're doing you a favour, it just didn't sit well with me, and I was ready to throw it all up in the air.
Yeah, so I think it's important when looking at a sit that you establish the balance early on in the relationship, because you're doing each other a favour.
And the second one is nothing says a sit's not going to go well than being hit with a barrage of house rules when you get there. Now, this isn't something that's happened to us, it's happened to friends. But for me, that would be a major red flag, because that comes back to the whole trust thing. That's saying to you, we're not trusting you in our home, so we need to set a load of rules out for you. That would be a challenge for me to be approached with something like that. Conversely, I have to say our experience has been very different to this. If I just think of two relatively recent sits, one was in the US. We arrived at the sit at the designated time, and the homeowner was fantastic. She gave us a real detailed tour of the property and introduced us to a beautiful cat. But they weren't quite ready to leave. They lived about 100 yards from a Target store, which I've got to say, living with Sarah was a bit of a challenge. But she asked us if we minded just disappearing over there for an hour while they finished wrapping up. So this is how the trust thing works. We did that. We went over there. We came back and we had a key to the property, and we thought, a bit strange.
Awkward.
Yeah, but it felt strange to knock the door when we've already got a key. But we thought, no, we got the key, so we let ourselves in. We walked into the lounge, and the man of the relationship was in there. He hadn't met us before. And I just said to him, oh, hi, we're just a pair of strangers who've got a key to your property. He burst out laughing. We had a good time with him, and then they disappeared off. It felt like we were sitting for friends. That was a great experience. The second one was in the UK, where the homeowner painstakingly recorded a whole set of videos just for us. She was talking,
because it's
she was talking to us. All the way through it, and showing us around her property. And the detail, like, here's how the air fryer works. Feel free to use that. She stuffed the fridge full of fruit and veg for us.
Just have whatever you want. So, Neil, we had a question from a viewer, G. Brown, who asked, where is the line between responsibility and liability? If the cat gets sick and needs urgent care, or a storm brings a tree down on the roof, is that something spelled in the agreement?
Short answer, yes. both of those situations are spelled out in the agreement, certainly with trusted house sitters anyway. But I'm going to tell you about something in a minute, which is a liability that I don't think is covered within that paperwork, which has changed our approach to house sitters totally. But if we take one of the sits that we did, as we arrived, the dog, or one of the dogs, was sick, and she was sick throughout the sit, and we were there for a good few days. So that meant that our role involved taking the dog to the vets, looking after her, and keeping in close medication, keeping in close contact with the homeowners as well. But that kind of goes with the territory. And for example, with something like this, what you can't do with trusted house sitters or with any house sitting platform is say, I want to be in location X because there's this amazing musical that's going to be on while I'm there. So you spend $200 on tickets to that musical and thinking this house sit is going to give me the leverage to be in the right place, because it may well be you can't go to it. So in our approach to house sitting, we don't do that. We will go to a place and we'll focus on the animals. But it's key for us to say actually as well that house sitting doesn't form a huge part of our travels. It's probably, I'd say, well, it's less than a month, a year, really. So it's not a big deal for us. But if you're looking to travel full-time using house sitting, then it will curtail whatever you do because of the liability you have. So I said that there was something that changed my view, and I think Sarah's view as well, about house sitting and liability. So let me just tell you this quick story. A house sit that we did in the US, the homeowners didn't have a lot of time before they left to give us a really good set of instructions. And they told us that their dog, which was young, boisterous, big, and, you know, quite difficult to control as well. There was a school playground round the corner where we could walk her. And they said it's okay to let her off the leash because it's an enclosed space. Now, the first challenge for me on that was thinking, well, in the UK, I don't know any school grounds where you're allowed to take a dog. And I thought, well, is that different in the US? There's obvious reasons why you don't want dogs in school playing grounds. We took her around there. She was very excited, pulling all the way, very excited to get there. And we let her off the leash and she went loopy. She was running around and there was no way that we could control her there.
And obviously she didn't know our voices to call her name, and she's a young dog, so
it was pretty stressful, to be honest. And there's two reasons why it's so stressful. I'm really interested in your views on this. Is this me being overly careful, coming from a resilience and security background? I always look at the negatives of all situations. What do you think to this? First of all, the school playground wasn't enclosed. There's basically a staircase that was probably 20 yards wide, which, if she so desired, she could have ran and she could have got down those stairs and out into the road. There's no way we'd have been able to stop her. So if she did that and she got run over,
where do we stand?
Where do we stand? Or if she'd done that and she caused a car accident, where do we stand? And I was worried about this as she was running around. But then a bigger problem occurred for me. And on this school playground was a toddler's play area with slides and things that spin round and things that bounce forwards and back and all that kind of stuff. And the dog was flying through there as well, going right through the middle of these toddlers that were doing this.
Chasing other
dogs, But then I'm thinking, what if she runs into a toddler, the toddler smacks his head on the metal of the slide and has a medical trauma?
Where do we stand?
Where do we stand there? And the big decision we made that day while we were watching this happen is, if we continue with house sitters, we're only going to do cats.
Yeah, I just remember that feeling. It was, I don't think I calmed down for a good couple of hours.
No.
Afterwards, I was traumatised by.
Yeah, it's pretty scary for us. Are we going overboard here? You tell me. But
well, it's because we took it seriously, the responsibility. But when she's off the leash,
this is in the United States. Things go wrong in the United States. You get sued for millions of dollars. I'm not sure our insurance would cover us for a dog that we don't own that's run into a kid that we don't own, that it's its head into a slide that we don't own. Where do I stand on any of that? So that was a massive issue, really.
So it's something to really think about.
Yeah.
And there was another one. So if you're telling the stories, why don't you tell the one about the TV?
Right. Oh, so this is the one that I spoke about earlier on, where I said if we hadn't built good trust with the homeowner, this could have been a sticky situation. So imagine this is you. What do you do in this scenario? Do you do what we did? Actually, I'll tell you what I almost did as well, but that's because I'm just crazy. We got to this house sit, lovely, lovely house sitters, amazing cats, beautiful house as well. So we had a bite to eat. We sat down to watch the TV, a lovely, brand new 60-inch Samsung. Great, we're watching telly. Everything's good in the world. Thought this is going to be a good couple of weeks doing this. And then the TV screen went black. That's a bit odd. So played around with it.
I thought it was a ghost, didn't I? Remember?
Yeah. Sarah will always go for the most
TV.
bizarre thing. Can you imagine ringing Samsung and say, "We got a ghost"?
It was just bizarre.
That's Sarah for you. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not technically incompetent. I come from a technical background, so I spent time troubleshooting and really going back to basics and troubleshooting this thing. The telly was toast. There's no way of dressing it up. The TV was toast. What do? It's a brand new TV. And also, think for yourself here, because I thought about this as we were writing the script of this video. When have you ever owned a TV in the last 10 years that breaks? They don't anymore, do they? They're solid state.
It just suddenly went.
Yeah, it's not like it's a tyre that bursts. Yeah, tyres burst. TVs don't break.
No.
So, what could I do? Oh, hi. Homeowner, I hope you're having a lovely holiday. Yeah, I know you've only been gone like 12 hours. TV's broke. Now, if I was them, I'd be going, what the hell is going on in there? They're having a rave But
so how do you break a TV? That was what we were worried about.
Yeah, exactly.
What have you been doing to it?
Because we had a really good trusting relationship with this homeowner, they were absolutely cool. And we worked with them to get all the details they needed to raise a support incident with Samsung to get the problem sorted out. I said I'm a little bit crazy and I was going to do something else. Didn't share this with you. Oh. I was looking at the TV online to see, can I buy another one of them and put it in its place, and they'll just not even know. But that would infer a level of liability on my part that I felt I'd done something wrong, and I hadn't. So these are the other things you've got to consider.
Were very conscious that we then didn't have a TV, and there was another massive one there.
They were great.
They were like, you can't take that off the wall, but there's another one upstairs. Just bring it down. They really cared that we had our home comforts. So to us, it didn't really matter, to be honest.
No, but if you compare this staying in a hotel, if you go in a hotel, TV stops working. You go, TV's not working. We're in suite 316. Get a new TV up here immediately. Boom. When you're house sitting, it's different. You go, oh no,
it's just how
TV's not working. We're responsible for this.
And then there's a couple of quick-fire issues, such as the pets wanting to sleep in the same bed as you and the homeowner cancelling on you at the last minute.
Yeah, and the first one of those might not be a problem. I know there was one house that we did where they had 2 dogs and both dogs needed to sleep on our bed, which meant there wasn't a lot of bed for us. That was a bit of a challenge. There was another house sit where the cat... So for us, we're absolute cat lovers. So when cats are being demanding, we just find it hilarious. But this cat, not going to name it, because if the homeowner's watching, she'll go, "Oh, I thought they were okay." We were okay with it, but
didn't get any sleep.
This cat, on the first night, she didn't sleep with us because she didn't trust us. The second night, she slept with us, down the end of the bed. The third night, she thought, loving this. I really get on with these two. In fact, I'm getting on so well. I don't think any of us should sleep. We should have a fun night. And she had a fun night.
She was
all over us all night. She had a brilliant time. We had a 5-hour drive the following day. And then with regard to cancelling sits, that's happened to us as well. We had a sit lined up in the UK that was perfect for us, many reasons for us. And at the last minute, that got cancelled. And in fact, we had to do that to a homeowner. We had what seemed to be the perfect sit. It was in Las Vegas, in a really nice part of Las Vegas, with a pool and an outdoor kitchen and what looked like a cute dog. Everything was going to be wonderful. And we had a family bereavement and we had to rush back home. Felt awful, and it was only a couple of days before the sit was due to start. So these things happen. A house sit is a one-on-one relationship. So if one or other of you is flaky for any reason, that can really impact the other party. So we mentioned earlier on that we had some comments from viewers. Anything there?
And we have. Mr. 279 said, house sitting is so hit or miss, it's not really viable for long-term or saving costs unless you have months booked ahead. But it only takes one homeowner to cancel a trip and you're homeless.
Can't agree enough. And actually, I know at one point we tried to build an itinerary around house sitting.
Yeah.
So we're going, oh, we want to be here, and then we can, oh, look, we can get a train from there to there, and there's a house sit there. If you do that,
Yeah,
you're
it's
guaranteed
really stressful.
failure because something's going to go wrong somewhere. And also, I think we said in our house sitting video that homes are rarely right in the centre of the action. So actually getting from a train station or an airport to the house sit is no mean feat. You're going to need to have some kind of transport to get there. So it's not
And then you're relying on that working, at the same time.
exactly.
As well, as far as...
It's not a panacea. This
Yeah.
isn't going to change your life and you go, oh, we can travel the world for free. Now, I mentioned at the start, I'll tell you why we house sit. Now, we're not doing it to save money. We've retired early so we can travel the world, and we wouldn't have done that if we couldn't afford to do it. The reason we do it is we love animals, and the biggest challenge,
Yeah.
I think more for me than you,
Yeah, you've always had pets in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
is travelling without
Yeah.
pets, and cats in particular. We loved being in Turkey and Greece because there were the
get
street
them for
cats
free.
everywhere. Yeah, you do, you get them for free. But it's a fleeting relationship.
Yeah.
And to be honest, house sitting is also a fleeting relationship. Even if you're there for a couple of weeks, you start to build a
Yeah, you
relationship.
do.
We had
We
this
really missed
recently.
them, didn't we?
Yeah, we built a relationship with all the cats, and I get a bit emotional thinking about those cats, which is crazy. It's crazy. So that's the reason why we do it.
Bond.
Yeah, that's why we do it, because we love animals.
Yeah,
and
we miss ours terribly, and if we could travel easily with pets, I know a lot of our viewers do.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be something we do in future, but that's the main reason we do the house sitting.
Yeah. What else we got?
Yes, so G. Brown again, who asked another question earlier in the video, said, I assume there is another negative about house sitting. You are probably not getting a beach house in Spain in the winter. Likely you are taking care of a person's home in England in the winter while they enjoy the sun. How true is that?
So I guess to an extent that's true,
Yeah.
but the other point is most people in the UK are going on vacation when the kids are off school. When the kids are off school, we don't want to be in vacation areas because it's going to be expensive. Eating out's going to be expensive. Accommodation's going to be expensive.
Busy everywhere.
But if you're staying somewhere in the UK, house sitting, you're getting the best of both worlds, because a place is empty, everyone's gone on vacation, you got someone's home in the UK, and believe me, the UK in August seems to be getting hotter and hotter as this global warming seems to be taking good effect these days.
Steve Fox raised some interesting points, actually. We've just completed 6 house sits, 1 in France, 3 in England and 2 in Ireland. Some were great, a very affectionate Persian cat in Bristol in a beautiful home.
Tell us which that one was. Quite fancy doing that one.
Yeah. Others not so much. Incontinent ageing dogs, dogs that expect to sleep in your bed, a new cat that can't leave the small house it shares with 2 large dogs, young undisciplined dogs, a rooster with hens, dogs with poor training, and so on. So the message is try and pick somewhere with no young or very old animals. We are staying in a great spot, Airbnb in Montenegro next year for Australian $57 a night for 3 weeks. Is house sitting really worth it? Also, most sits are in the UK and it rained there throughout the summer, and in Ireland where I had to buy gumboots to walk the dogs.
Yeah, Steve, you do raise good points, and you're certainly not working for the homeowners as the house sitters marketing board, that's for sure. Yeah, it looks like you've had some interesting experiences.
But you've got to choose your house sits. You don't have to do them all.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the sound of an aged dog, or dogs on medication, it's your choice as well. It's not the
and he does say that.
Yeah.
He says, you need to look into it. You're absolutely right. There are many sits out there. Find the ones that work best for you. There are people who are going, oh, I'd love to sit for an incontinent dog. They'll find it. It's there. Yeah, that's a good point. Well raised. If you want to see more about house sitting, we did make a video about that, and we'll link to it just on my belly here. Next week is our Q&A, and we've had some thorny questions, certainly thorny questions about money. So do come back for that one. We're looking forward to it. And you've been watching To Go Rome. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.